As it was announced today that he's going to be taking over the 14 Stewart-Haas Racing Ford in 2021. So let us say hello to Chase Briscoe. I see the smile. I'm sure it's been plastered on your face all day long, Chase. Congratulations. Such an incredible opportunity. I do want to ask you about your decision to call and to reach out to every single person who has helped you in your career, because I heard that's what you did today. So walk me through that.
Yeah, so when I found out about a week and a half ago, I knew that it was going to come out obviously in a week or two. And I called everybody that I felt like was a big part of my career and just wanted them to hear it from me first off instead of reading it online. And then today I had a couple hours in between some media stuff and went back to the ARCA shop where I literally volunteered for nearly 2 years and where I got my start. And there's only 3 guys that are still there from when I was there. And I took them all to lunch and just hung out with them for an hour or two and just talked about old times, and it was pretty neat to go back. And with COVID, I haven't been able to go up to their shop. And, I try to go in there at least every other month, one or two times, and see them guys. And it was cool to go back in that shop and talk to my crew chief, who now owns the place, and just talk about how we were literally sitting in the parking lot, 5 years ago, talking about how cool it'd be to try to go cup racing and make it there. And, now to be that opportunity and do it for the guy that's my hero.
Chase, going back even further than 5 years, growing up in Mitchell, Indiana, not far from Columbus, being a big Tony Stewart fan, and now you get to take over the 14. I'm sure a few years ago when you went to drive Xfinity cars, it was a big thrill driving for Tony. What's it like now jumping in that 14, the car that he made famous at the end of his career?
Yeah, it's unbelievable, to grow up in Indiana, in southern Indiana. Like you said, 45 minutes to an hour away from where Tony grew up. We both grew up racing sprint cars, primarily non-wing sprint cars. Just our backgrounds are so similar in that sense. And I was always a diehard Tony fan, wearing the helmet and the uniform. And I would play my sprint car video game, play my NASCAR video game, and I would always pick Tony. And it's just so crazy to look back on. And when I got signed with Ford, I always would tell my dad and people that were close to, working with me in the racing stuff, man, it'd be a dream come true just to get a drive at Stewart-Haas Racing. And then to be able to do that in 2018, but then now to be able to drive the 14 car, it's just unbelievable. It's a dream come true. Hopefully I can do it for many years to come, but to know that I'm going to get my first Cup start at the Daytona 500, driving for the guy that was my hero is just unbelievable.
Well, Chase, that's very cool getting to drive for a guy like Tony Stewart, especially with your story. I want to know, a lot of times these things happen a little bit before we find out about them. So when did you first find out you would be in the 14 car, and who told you that? Yeah,
so Tony called me probably 3 or 4 months ago and called me at like 11 o'clock at night. So I thought that was, I knew if he was calling at that time, it was something pretty serious. So I picked up and we just kind of chit-chatted for a little bit, and then he said, let's get down to business, and told me that the 14 car was going to be mine. He didn't want me to go anywhere. He just wasn't sure if it was going to be in 2021 or 2022. And then, fast forward probably 2 months, I would say around 3 weeks ago, he sent his plane down to North Carolina, told me and my family and my wife to come meet him at his house. That High Point was going to be there, and he was needing us to try to be the deciding factor in going racing this year. And I got up there and come to find out, High Point had been signed up for nearly 2 weeks, and it was all just a big scheme to get me up there and not know that they were already signed up. And, we had dinner that night, and at the end of dinner, somehow the word chance got brought up, and he said, speaking of chances, and, I'm sitting there at the dinner table, and I'm like, man, here it is. He's going to put him on the spot. This is going to be the moment. And come to find out, it was already done. He said, we're going to give you a chance to drive the 14 car next year. And, that was a moment I'll never forget, getting to experience that, with my family. My wife didn't get to go. I absolutely hate that she wasn't there. She had a doctor's appointment that day, and it still tears her up to this day. But, to be able to experience that the way Tony did it, he had hidden cameras in his house and said that you only get told you're going cup racing for the first time once, and I wanted it to be special and something you remember forever. So Tony just did it in an absolute class act way, and it's certainly going to be something I'll never forget.
You'll have to tell Tony that us wives, we don't forget anything. So I'm sure that she's going to get hers coming up. Hey, listen, you mentioned the Daytona 500 start. How do you wrap your head around the fact that you are going to make your very first Cup start in the 14 car at the Daytona 500, a race that every little boy racing cars wants to race in?
Yeah, it's crazy. You know, literally a week ago on my Facebook memories, it popped up that I want to say it was like 9 years ago. I said, there's 3 things I want to experience in racing. And it was start a World of Outlaw feature, which I had just done that weekend, start the Chili Bowl feature, which I got to do a couple years ago, and start the Daytona 500. And I'm going to get to do that now. So I'm so excited to be able to do that. You know, obviously we want to go there and win, but just getting to start that race, you know, for me, knowing that 5 years ago I was sleeping on couches and volunteering at race shops, and you know, 5 years later, I'm going to start the Daytona 500 for a top-notch team, driving for my hero in the 14 car. It's something I can't put into words. I've been extremely blessed to get to this point, you know, to literally be at that stage in my life 5 years ago, ready to quit. And now, you know, being a Cup driver for my hero is just unbelievable.
Well, Daytona is very exciting, and I'm sure when that moment comes, it's going to be tough to sleep the night before. But you've got another date coming up here that's going to be tough to sleep beforehand. That's Phoenix in a couple weeks. A lot of exciting news today. How do you compartmentalize that and get yourself refocused on Phoenix? And what do you do the next 2 weeks in the Xfinity Series to get ready for Phoenix?
Yeah, you know, for me, Phoenix is obviously something that we're focused on right now, but there's still 2 races to try to go and win with Texas and Martinsville. So, you know, for me, I'm focused on those 2 races right now. Obviously, Phoenix is still at the top of mind in the big scheme of things, but yeah, that's going to be a huge day. You know, right now we have a 1 in 4 shot at winning this championship, and you know, that's all you can ask for is to be one of those 4 guys, and for us to already be locked in and go there with our highpoint.com Mustang and have a legitimate chance to win this championship. That's a huge thing to be able to do. So we're going to go there and try to do it. You know, all we can do is, you know, what we try to do all year long, and just go there and execute and worry about the 98 car, nobody else. And I feel like if we do that, we're going to be in position to hopefully win the race and the championship, and hopefully we can seal the deal at the end of it.
Man, based on what we've seen out of you, Chase, your vision board for your career has been pretty accurate and pretty incredible. So I'm sure if you've got Phoenix and championship on that vision board, there's a good chance it's going to come true. Congratulations. We can't wait to see you in the car and of course, close out this season.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
For more great NASCAR on Fox content, subscribe to our channel. It's somewhere right around here.